Good morning. I'm Audrey Johnson with the UNA Campus Report.
And I'm Ellen McDonald.
This morning, we're bringing you news of an apartment fire, a sexual assault in a University of North Alabama residence hall, and the ongoing legal battle over a Confederate monument in Lauderdale County.
On a lighter note, stay tuned to hear about the historic donation to UNA, the reopening of Joe Wheeler State Park, and a local musician receiving help from the community.
The Alabama Forestry Commission reminded Alabamians Friday that a permit is required if they are planning to burn 1/4 an acre or more of woodland, grassland, fields, and new ground. This rule also applies if the burn site is within 25 feet of natural fuel, such as wood or grass. To get a permit, you can call the AFC Dispatch Center. Be prepared for the dispatcher to ask you a few questions about what you're planning to burn and where. Anyone applying for a permit will also need to have the appropriate tools, equipment, and manpower to stay in control of the fire throughout the entire period of the burn. Even with a permit, the person burning will still be responsible for any smoke damage or if the fire gets out of control.
Music is such a vibrant part of the Shoals community. TJ Beasley and the Twisted Country Band have always given back to the Shoals. But now, after suffering injuries from diabetes, Beasley has turned to the community for support.
Lots of musical talent that performs in the community. They are also known for showcasing big musical events like the WC Handy Music Festival. When it comes down to helping one of their own, the community has come together to support local legend TJ Beasley. Beasley is a member of the Twisted Country Band and has been plagued with financial troubles due to his diabetes. Beasley has played lots of benefits and fundraisers in his musical career, but now he is the one that needs help. Complications from his diabetes has caused Beasley to lose part of his leg. The loss of his leg has affected his ability to perform and make a living. Now Beasley is in a desperate need of a prosthetic foot, which will cost him about $10,000. So a few local businesses, as well as the Alabama Music Hall of Fame, have come together for this special cause. Band members from the community consider it an honor and a privilege to come together and help someone they refer to as a brother in the time of need. Even though Beasley has lost a part of his leg, he continues to perform to the best of his ability. According to Beasley's wife Jessica, they are still short of their financial goal. There is still time to make a difference and help TJ Beasley reach his goal by contacting Twisted Country Band through their Facebook page and lending a helping hand to a worthy cause.
A 3-year-old was rescued from a fire on Monday morning at around 5 a.m., which resulted in the child's father being arrested on arson charges. Rogersville Fire Department was called to Rogersville Park Apartments around 4:45 a.m. to respond to the fire. Rogersville police officer Tyler Dyson responded to the scene after hearing the dispatch call before firefighters arrived. Dyson forced entry into the apartment, rescuing the child, according to the fire department. Dyson, who suffered burns to his arm, transported the child in his police car to meet the oncoming ambulance. The child was then transported to the North Alabama Medical Center and later UAB by AirVac. The father, Jared Lynn Hazelwood, 44, is being charged with 7 counts of first-degree arson. Hazelwood was booked into the Lauderdale County Jail on a $420,000 bond.
Elections for the UNA Student Government Association close tonight at 6 p.m. This year's election looks a little different than last for a few reasons. First, senators are now apportioned by their college, and second, candidates for president and vice president must run as a team. The 3 sets of president and VP candidates are running this year. They are Javia Warner, Grace Hafner, Amber Sandvig, Kennedy Edwards, and John Shinholster and RJ Myers. Hannah Bryant and Garrett Statham are running for treasurer, and the secretary position remains unfilled. The winners of the election will assume office in April. UNA's campus newspaper, the Florala, will announce the winners as soon as the votes are tallied.
For the first time in over a decade, Alabama gas prices have exceeded $4 per gallon. On March 6th, the American Automobile Association said that regular gasoline has nationally averaged to $4.01 per gallon, with California having the highest national prices at $5.29 on average. The spike in prices grew soon after Russia's invasion of Ukraine and rose even higher as President Biden announced that the U.S. will ban imports of Russian oil. Only 2 days later, on March 8th, and on the same day of Biden's announcement, gas prices hit their highest level ever. According to AAA, the national average price for a gallon of gas reached $4.25, a new record. These prices have left the nation wondering one thing: what should they expect from the future? USA Today suspects that even as prices are expected to decline after May, the average is still expected to remain over $4 until November. The average for 2022 is expected to be $3.99. Prices were already rising, but the national average could now reach $5 a gallon due to the situation in Ukraine.
The Charles C. Anderson family recently contributed the largest donation in history to the University of North Alabama. $6.5 million will go to the developing academic and athletic areas on campus, while $1 million will go to the women's athletic programs to honor Hilda B. Anderson. Hilda was very passionate about the women's athletic programs at UNA, and she wanted to ensure they had the necessary funding, said Mr. Charles C. Anderson to the University of North Alabama. Our sons, Charlie, Terry, Clyde, and Harold, wanted to honor her and her legacy with this gift.
Last week, the Alabama State Senate passed a changed version of the HB 44 bill. This bill would repeal restrictions on carrying or possessing a firearm at certain locations or in a vehicle by persons without a concealed weapon permit. The legislation was proposed by Republican State House Representative Andrew Sorrell of Muscle Shoals. The Alabama Sheriff's Association, law enforcement, and other organizations were at the Alabama State House to voice their concerns about safety if the bill were to pass. If these laws were to pass and allow for permitless carry in the state of Alabama, it would make it just a little bit tougher for us to do our jobs every day, said Lee County Sheriff Jay Jones. The Sheriff's Association and law enforcement officers also claimed this proposed bill will allow dangerous criminals to avoid background checks or other security checks and carry weapons into K-12 school athletic events.
Light the Fountain is a staple tradition for the students and alumni of UNA. Last week, the university celebrated its 6th annual event.
It's an enjoyable tradition for students at the University of North Alabama. For some, this date is looked forward to as it marks the beginning of spring and the last chunk of the school year after midterms have finished. We got UNA cheerleader and junior Chloe Bagdonis to share her experience with this beloved tradition.
For all the community to come together, and it's a great way to show our support for the community, and there's free food and there's free t-shirts, and the whole community just comes together and we have a big celebration to light the fountain and bring a lot of us together and just have a great time.
However, for others, this is a new experience that is yet to become an appreciated tradition. UNA sophomores Maddie Manis and Omar Figueroa also gave their insight to their first experience at the event.
I am in line to get a t-shirt right now, and I'm so excited. This is my first year at Light the Fountain, and it's going to be so much fun.
This is my first year at Light the Fountain, and it was really fun. It was super crowded, and got free hot dogs, so fun times.
The UNA community describes Light the Fountain as the event that provides students the opportunity to engage with one another and the campus community in a shared experience, and to appreciate the symbolic representation of the campus coming alive with spring weather and the second half of the spring academic term. This year's lighting of the fountain was accompanied by UNA alumna Laura Harrison and consisted of free food, free t-shirts, and free entertainment for students, parents, children, and even the pets of the community.
Have you ever been stopped in your tracks because of a train? Colbert County's House Bill 122 is trying to stop that from happening, especially in the event of an emergency. Colbert County's EMA Director Michael Smith said that because of trains, so many times an ambulance does have to divert all the way around or through another city just to get back to the hospital or even respond from the hospital to an emergency scene. However, this is not the only problem that stalled trains have caused, especially for first responders. Smith said that there are times where backup has to be called from a different jurisdiction to assist Colbert County EMAs. Most of the time, the other EMAs are able to arrive at the scenes more quickly than local respondents due to track blockades. The bill is trying to find an effective way to prevent situations like this from happening in the future. The House passed the bill that states local law enforcement can order a train to be divided or moved if it has been stopped for at least 2 hours or an emergency vehicle approaches. The bill will also fine the train operator a penalty of $5,000 for every extra hour the train blocks the crossing and up to $50,000 a day. The bill still needs to be passed by the Senate and signed by Governor Kay Ivey before becoming law.
The CDC has rolled out a new set of COVID guidelines, taking a county-by-county approach. There are now 3 risk levels, low, medium, and high, that are assigned to each county in a given state. The public can view an interactive map on cdc.gov to see what level their county is at. Low-risk county citizens are advised to stay up to date on COVID vaccines and get tested if they are experiencing any symptoms of the virus. Medium-risk county citizens are advised to talk to healthcare providers if they are at risk for severe illness, stay up to date on vaccines, and get tested if they have any symptoms. High-risk county citizens are advised to mask up indoors, stay up to date on vaccines, get tested if they are experiencing symptoms, and take extra precautions if they are at high risk of severe illness. At this time, Lauderdale County is a medium risk, meaning that citizens should follow medium risk guidelines until further notice.
With the weather warming up, now is a great time to visit Joe Wheeler State Park. The park has reopened its campground for the first time in nearly 3 years. The park was closed because of severe damage from a tornado on December 16, 2019. The wind knocked down hundreds of trees and destroyed a significant amount of the park. The park has now built brand new campgrounds with updated water lines, electricity, and bathhouses. Officials are also working to plant over 200 new trees to fill up the empty areas of the park. Park Superintendent Chad Davis said, "Everything is cleaned up here, everything is ready to go, and we're just happy to share the campground with everyone."
A group in Lauderdale County is suing the city of Florence and its leaders in hopes of preventing the removal of the Confederate monument that sits in front of the Lauderdale County Courthouse. A judge is set to hear the plaintiff's defense on Friday. Some people fear that the City of Florence leaders and the County Commission are trying to move the Confederate flag that has stood in front of the county courthouse for over a century. They want the judge to reinforce the Alabama Memorial Preservation Act of 2017, a state law that bans the moving of monuments more than 40 years old. Ed Kennedy is a retired Army lieutenant and now works with the Heritage Protection of North Alabama. He says the lawsuit was filed in 2020. It accuses the city and county leaders of working together to get the statue removed. Heritage Protection of North Alabama's mission is to ensure that our monuments and historical artifacts are not destroyed or illegally removed, said Kennedy. Friday will be the first time lawyers for city and county leaders will be in front of a county judge. The fine for violating the Preservation Act is $25,000. We will keep you updated as results of the hearing are released.
A sexual assault took place in UNA's Mattie Lou Hall on February 14th. 19-year-old Joshua Caleb De La Hoz was charged with first-degree sexual abuse, domestic violence, strangulation, unlawful imprisonment, furnishing alcohol for a minor, and interference with the domestic violence 911 call. According to the police report, De La Hoz entered the room and forced himself upon a young female resident. The female student reportedly refused his advances. The resident stated that her assailant held her down while he attempted to strangle her, which resulted in bruises on her neck and thighs. De La Hoz is currently being held at the Lauderdale County Detention Center. The court records state that De La Hoz is an employee at the UNA campus. However, UNA administration has denied this statement. The university released a statement saying, "There is no place at our university for the behavior that is alleged in this matter. We are working with law enforcement to provide any information that may be helpful. Maintaining a safe environment for our students and staff is always our top priority." A court date has not yet been set.
Muscle Shoals police discovered over $100,000 worth of drugs, guns, and money after making an arrest on February 22nd. Officers found 2 ounces of crack cocaine after confronting a suspect of a possible burglary. The suspect was identified as Stephen Darnell Kane, a 64-year-old citizen of Muscle Shoals. The Muscle Shoals Police Department obtained a search warrant for Kane's storage unit within the Muscle Shoals city limits. According to a Facebook post from the Muscle Shoals Police Department, officers found the following: 30 ounces of cocaine, over $40,000 cash, and 4 handguns. Kane was charged with drug trafficking and was taken to the Colbert County Jail.
We now turn to sports director Luke Shope for an athletics update.
Spring sports are in full swing here at the University of North Alabama, and I'm here to give you the rundown on the games to look out for. Baseball opens up conference play against Eastern Kentucky in a 3-day series of games from March 18th through March 20th. All of these games will be played at home. Softball faces up against Stetson in back-to-back conference games at home on March 19th and March 20th. Men's and women's tennis will be competing in conference games against Jacksonville State in Jacksonville on March 18th and against Lipscomb in Nashville on March 20th. Men's golf will be competing in the Twin Oaks Intercollegiate in Springfield, Missouri from March 20th through March 22nd. Women's golf will also be competing in a tournament from March 20th through the 22nd. They will be competing in the Bama Beach Bash in Gulf Shores, Alabama. Beach volleyball will round out our update with conference games against Stetson in DeLand, Florida on March 18th and against Jacksonville State at home on March 23rd. For more information, including box scores and recaps of previous games, visit roarlions.com/calendar.
On Sunday, the University of North Alabama Lady Lions ended their season, falling into the quarterfinals of the 2022 ASUN Women's Basketball Championship. UNA was defeated by Stetson, who advanced to the finals. The final score was 64-53. The Lady Lions closed their season with a record of 13-16.
This Friday, the Shoals Community Clinic and the University of North Alabama Department of Kinesiology will be hosting a spring health fair from 7 a.m. until noon. In order to participate, you must be 40 years of age or suffer from chronic health conditions. At the clinic, participants will be given a full cholesterol screening as long as they've fasted for 12 hours prior. In addition, participants will be given measurements of their blood pressure, resting heart rate, and body mass, and be able to visit with a certified exercise physiologist. Officials through the clinic hope to research how effective recent screening processes are and possibly reduce unnecessary medical referrals for those wanting to exercise. The clinic is located at 309 W.C. Handy Place in Florence.
We can expect scattered showers through this afternoon with a high of 64. As we go into this evening, temperatures will drop to a low of 54. As we move into our day tomorrow, there will be partly cloudy skies with a high of 72. With the UNA Campus Report, I'm Ellen McDonald.
And I'm Audrey Johnson. Thanks for watching.